Well, welcome back. I'd love to answer your emails on Facebook and on our website. And,
YourHomeWizards.com?
Yeah, and Don has a question. I think this is going to really hit a nerve with you. Okay? Because we know you love your tools.
Love them.
And Don does too, and he says, okay, Eric, help me. I've got a lot of old tools in the garage. I know I need to downsize them because my wife says they're kind of overflowing.
Yes.
But what tools, maybe are there 3 to 5 essentials that I should definitely keep and say, back off, I'm keeping these tools. But then are there maybe also, in addition to that, a classic 1 or 2 that I can perhaps fix? Maybe they've rusted up.
Sure.
You know, what do you think?
Good question. So, there's so many great new modern tools out there that are either pneumatic or cordless, and they're so powerful now that you really don't need some of the old hand tools.
They're pneumatic?
Yeah, like they literally have the ability to take a tire off of an automobile because they've got such great torque on them. So these are things that are available and they're affordable. These used to be sort of inaccessible to the homeowner. Now they're all being manufactured at a really great price point. So the essential tools you want are a cordless screwdriver. You also want some kind of a saw, so probably a great thing to have would be a jigsaw because it's a reciprocating blade. It can cut in circular patterns. That's great for a crafter or somebody that needs to cut things that just aren't straight. I would also like you to have a chop saw if you're going to ever get into doing molding. That gives you the ability to cut angles and compound miters, just like putting picture frame angles together. You definitely want a great tape measure that's not rusted out. And when it comes to tape measures, if they get wet, a good thing to do is extend them almost all the way to the end, take a rag and spray some WD-40 on it, and then have that tape measure go back into its case and you'll lubricate it, and that keeps it from rusting out. Okay. Also, another tip on tape measures, sometimes they'll get breakage on the edges of them and they get very, very sharp. It's like a razor. So if you do have a considerable amount of breakages in the tape measure, you want to maybe replace it because as that's resetting back into the body, it'll slide through your hands and it can really cut you badly. So you want to be careful on that.
See, that's why when I was zip lining, well, I was in a...
Back in Uganda?
I wasn't there, but I was actually in the convention center doing a zip lining test, and they made a point of not putting your hands on those cables. That'd be the same sensation. You would completely
if those
rip.
Those cables can get really sharp as well. Yeah, so you want to be careful.
Zip lining.
Through the Congo when I was in the military.
But the WD-40, I mean, isn't it true that once a guy has WD-40 and duct tape, I mean, he can rule the world?
Pretty much so, yeah.
That's it.
And if hand tools get wet or they're sitting out in the yard, and you just lubricate them with a rag again and some sort of a WD-40 product or anything like that, oil of any kind, it'll definitely help out. Also, old pliers and stuff, you want to keep those lubricated to keep them from freezing up on you. As far as tools to get rid of, things like slot head screwdrivers that, we really don't use the slot head that often anymore, so you could definitely maybe think about downsizing those. But, having said that, tools are great. They can really be helpful, but if it gets overwhelming and you have 5 of the same thing, you can maybe pare stuff down.
You have to have a hammer. And what about an Allen wrench?
Definitely want a hammer.
Right?
You want Allen wrench set is a great idea to have. Also, people don't often think of this, but around the holiday season, when you get the toys, there's all these tiny little screws that you have to screw on and off, even to get packaging undone. You're going to need these little tiny screwdrivers, and also reading glasses to adjust. You may want to get a set of those very micro, tiny little screwdriver systems as
They have them at the hardware store, right at the checkout aisle, right? They have those little
Also,
sets.
if you have a couple of old hand saws, you're going to be able to do that in half the time with a power tool. So maybe you could get rid of some of those, unless of course they're antiques or they're from your dad and you want to feature them.
I wish you didn't say that unless they're antiques, because now my husband Bill is going to hear that and he's going to say that all his tools are antiques.
Yeah. I think a great thing to do is kind of and group everything together. If you've got 3 hammers and 57 screwdrivers and 10 wrenches.
So what's the limit? 3 of each?
Yeah,
2 of each?
at the most.
Come on.
Yeah,
okay.
Really. No, you don't have to coax me. I know. I hear you. I'm going to help Bill purge his garage.
Schmantiques is what I'm saying. Anyway, thanks for writing in, Don, and keep the emails coming here at YourHomeWizards.com and follow us on Facebook.